Of course, there has been no official confirmation about the terror angle. But if you just piece the events of the day, I mean, 3,000 kgs of explosives, 900 kgs of
Yeah.
explosives,
Yeah.
those what 20 odd timers, assault rifles, pistols. Uh, you know, uh, it does seem that all this is part of a terror cell.
Yeah.
Now, as terror plays out, the int agencies, from some preliminary reports, have been monitoring this terror cell for a while. And the skill or the trick, of course, is that when you're monitoring a cell, you don't
Yeah.
pounce on it too soon. You delay it so that you get more and more people in your grasp. So
Yeah.
I suspect that as it was being monitored and the police and the int agencies pounced on the terror cell, it had connections, Haryana, UP, J&K, and the usual stuff. They
Yeah.
decided that, now that they are being nabbed, they must do something. So I see a connection between what's happened in Redford and the earlier events of the day. Now, of course, this is subject to greater scientific investigation. So you'll have investigation of ballistics, the explosives there, CCTV cameras, and the whole picture has to be put together. So that's one part of it. The second issue, Barkha, is this that.
Mm.
I think for the last decade or so, we did have a firm grip on terror. That was one of our, shall I say, major successes. If you see more than 10, 12 years back, there would be a
Mm.
blast like this in every city and pretty often.
Yeah.
Bangalore, Pune. Sometimes we don't realize that that has been a major success of the security state.
Absolutely.
There has been no
Absolutely.
blast in the hinterland for quite a while.
Yeah.
Kashmir, of course, is a different matter. So, I mean, that good spell perhaps has come to an end. As an analyst, I have no doubt this is Asim Munir's. These are offerings of Asim Munir. It's a direct challenge, and we must
Mm.
also pay heed to the larger issues which I have been pointing out for some time on your channel. That these attacks may not only be along our western borders. We must be very careful about our eastern borders, the Bangladesh, Myanmar angle, and Asim Munir and DG ISPR have made public statements that the next terror attack may come from the east. So I hope it's not terror back, but the events of the day do seem to suggest that there is a terror angle, of course, and I'll underline this, of course. We'll wait for an official confirmation subject to further investigations. 20 vehicles
Yeah.
got caught in this explosion. So it cannot be a gas cylinder blast.
Absolutely.
I have great doubts.
Are you surprised though that it hasn't yet been by the police of the government been called a terror attack, or is this a learning in a way from Pahalgam, where when you say something you want to supplement it in real time with some, I don't know, what do you make of the fact that there is such caution in the public articulation? Are these learnings of strategic communication?
I don't think it's caution. I think it's greater responsibility. When you're in
Yeah.
government, you've
Okay. Yes.
got to be
Yes.
careful about your tongue. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
so,
Yes.
but therefore, I think they'll be waiting for confirmations from forensics, ballistics. But some indications, some news reports suggest that the borders have been sealed and so on and so forth. So I think it's all concurrent. I think the government would be acting on the presumption of terror, but it will confirm it only when it has weightier evidence. And that is also, I think, the right way to go about these things.
You said, and and of course, government, you can speak with greater freedom. You said piecing together the evidence, joining the dots. The morning starts with the police revealing that an interstate anti-terror module has been busted. 2,900 kilos of bomb-making ammonium nitrate has been recovered, along with an assault rifle. A Jammu and Kashmir doctor is taken into custody. In the evening, we have an explosion in a car in a crowded area at peak time near a metro station. I'm mentioning all these details because for those of us who've been old enough to cover terror attacks in cities, this is classic terror patterns. You look for the most crowded place, you place your bomb in a car, you may even sometimes use the car bomb as a diversionary tactic to strike in a bigger way elsewhere. You do it at a critical, sensitive time. There's an election, voting in Bihar tomorrow. These are classic moves of terrorists, for many of us who are old enough to have lived through those years when our cities were subject to these attacks. When you join those dots, Sushant Serene earlier on the channel was saying maybe the police should not have gone public with the fact that they had busted the module, because obviously some parts of the module were still operational. And they thought, if we don't do this now, it's over for us. So let's either use it or lose it. I'm quoting Sushant here. What do you think when you join the dots to the press conference in the morning and what's happened by the end of day?
Exactly. I mean, I quite agree with Sushant. I think what has happened that a greater tragedy has been foiled because
Explain that. Explain that. Explain that.
the explanation seems to be that the terror module, it was being monitored for a while. Some news reports in the morning said some 7 to 8 months. So you monitor these terror modules, you wait before you pounce on them so as to get a larger, the larger operatives and the OGWs and all into the net. So you'll be monitoring their communication movements. And then it's a matter of judgment and timing.
Yeah.
Because if it is too late, then the act will occur. So sometimes before the act. So the police must have taken a call in the morning, and when the module got what wind, when they were pounced upon, they perhaps said ki jo taiyari hai usko kar do, and this is part of the taiyari which has happened. Now,
Yeah.
this is a cat and mouse game. It is very difficult, and it's common sense. But let me highlight it that for every module or for every such attack or incident which happens, there are 100 successes which go unacknowledged. So many modules get, they are busted before they mature. So it is between this maturation and the act. I mean, that is what all what intelligence is about. So I think the optimistic way of looking at it is that perhaps a greater tragedy was averted.
Now, General Shukla, the NSG, the NIA, forensic teams are at the site of the blast. Clearly, it is being treated as a terror attack, even though it hasn't officially been called one. My question to you is, what if you were in government right now and you were thinking, where should my attention be? One is the investigation. Who did this? How did they do it? Why did they do it? How do we respond? The other is, how do we ensure that nothing more happens elsewhere? So we've got a high alert at railway stations and airports. What would you be thinking? Like, what are you most concerned about right now?
See, it's not a matter of getting concerned one fine evening.
No,
Terror
I
is a
know.
long game. I mean, I'm not making light of what you're saying. I'm just trying to explain it.
Yeah.
And before that, Barkha, let me point out. Look at how diabolical it could have been. This area, this particular traffic signal crossing is pretty close to my house. What do you have here? Jama Masjid. I
Yeah.
think the Jain Mandir, Red
Yeah.
Fort,
Yeah.
metro station.
Yeah.
It could have been far deadlier. And I think today is
Correct.
a holiday, so the crowds may have been just that little thinner. So it could have been even more diabolical in design. And the
Yeah.
larger issue is this. It is my hunch that this Op Trishul and before that the army chief statement, that one about what was it, geography and economy,
Mm.
that also I think was a reaction to some indications that something was being planned. So, it is all kinds. Of course, you'll have the police in action. I think the military would be in higher states of readiness. The borders would have been sealed. And now we also must look east because that
Mm.
is another area. I mean, what is left? You have the DGI side traveling, the Jamaat-e-Islami, the statements of Muhammad Yunus. They are
Yeah.
open threats. And, it may be the wrong day to say so, but I am of the view that our eastern borders must be sealed somewhat in the manner of what we've done along the line of control. And perhaps we need a force also like the RR to guard
Mm.
that piece of territory so that we seal it. Otherwise, you may have infiltration from the east. So I'm saying both along our eastern, western horizons, uh, the terror and national security challenges are growing. That's the sad reality.
You couple of very important points you've